Everyone's talking about Veo3 right now, but what if you could use GPT-5 inside of Alphana to actually design the scenes and images that become your next Veo3 video? In today's Insider Live, I'm going to show you how to grab any video or transcript and turn it into reference images using Alphana's new ChatGPT-5 upgrade. Then we're going to take those images and use them as the foundation for cinematic ads or Veo3 style video prompts. This way, you're not starting from a blank page. You're letting Alphana do the heavy lifting of scene creation, storyboarding, and mood boarding so your videos feel polished right from the start. So by the end of the session, you'll see how to go from raw content to reference images, to finished video sequences, all in one workflow. First things first, what we want to do is we want to generate images, we want to generate these items so that we can generate some Veo3 videos. Now, I've covered Veo3 in one of my last sessions. Veo3 allows you to essentially from any prompt or take an image and create videos that have sound effects, video, talking, all in one shot, right? And so it produces these 8-second clips. But a lot of times you don't know what video to write or what prompts to come up with. And so we're going to leverage Alphana to come up with prompts. We're going to leverage Alphana to come up with the reference images, the scenes, and different elements, all based on a video. So what's great is if you have an existing video, a podcast, an interview, or let's say you did a product launch video talking about a new product or a feature or anything like that, now you could pop that into Alphana. We'll gain those insights and be able to create more from it. So let's take a look at a couple examples of a couple things that we're going to show today. So here, what you see, we've got the wall of insights. All right. We took inside of Alphana, we extracted the insights from the video, and from that video, we created what we call wall of insights, which pulls out these insights from what's happening inside the video. And so you've got a wall, you've got like these little sticky notes and papers that are on there, and all of these are coming from the video, so you don't have to come up with this yourself, right? If you wanted to come up with this prompt, Alphana already handles the prompting, it handles the image generation, and we even show you the prompt that was made right here in case you wanted to tweak it for yourself. Right? Now, here's another example of the wall of insights. So you get several examples of wall of insights and you get to choose the one that you want to use to be able to create video from, right? So now I'm showing you, you should be able to see some example ads. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay. So if I scroll back to the top, I've got a video here, and that video generated a series of ads for Superhuman. Okay, Superhuman's an email client app, and you can see how it generated a whole bunch of different concepts for ads based on this company. And if I open it up in Zoom, you could see it generated the UI. It gave it a title like "Never Drop the Ball Again, Try Superhuman Today." It even puts a creator or an actor right on there. But imagine we took one of these and we turned it into an ad. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you. We're going to actually do this one live. It'll be pretty cool. So Alphana generated all of these images, and I'm going to generate some live with you as well. But all of these that you see in the carousel, these are all generated inside of Alphana, all from you dropping in a video. And you can upload a video, a podcast, you can upload an interview, or honestly, it doesn't even have to be a video. You can record a voice note on your phone about some ideas, about your company, about your business, or anything like that. Upload that into Alphana, we'll automatically analyze it, transcribe it, and from there, we generate a series of ads and images, all based on those insights. So this kind of gives you an idea of what it looks like from ads from our podcast workflow. So we took an example podcast and generated, for example, a podcast cover art. So if you ever wanted to come up with thumbnail options for your podcast, right? Here's an example of what it is. Now, this video is all about podcasting. So not only did it create podcast covers, but it was about podcasting. So you could see how the elements are relevant, like the studio, the microphone. You can see down here how it put the microphone, and then at the bottom, it's like podcasting meets profit, right? I could see that as an interesting title. Spotify partner program. And here's another one where you see kind of the desktop with the microphone setup. So these are all images that are generated inside of Alphana. Now, why do I say this? Is because you want to be able to generate, if you're trying to come up with a video, you could generate images and scenes all by using some of the prompts and some of the cards that we have inside of Alphana. And then from there, now take those images and we can put that into Veo3 so you can create some interesting videos based on it. And so I just have a couple that I've created so that we can have a couple to play around with. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Flow and I'll show you what we did with that. Now you should be able to see on my screen, and you're going to see the wall of insights. Okay. And you'll see that I actually generated 2 videos. I'm going to go ahead and click on a video and zoom in. We took that image, I uploaded into Veo3, and now we're going to turn this into a video. And here we go. So This was one option. Now, it's funny because it has a lot of text, for some reason it misspelled some of the, or changed the words afterwards. Here's another one so you can see what that looks like. It just did two variations of it. All right, so that's an example. What I want to do is we're going to go ahead and create something inside of Alphana. That way we could generate a visual from it. So I'm going to go ahead and create. Let's see what we could do. Inside of Alphana, we have different templates. And so one of the things we want to do is I want to create an image that we can use to put into Veo3. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to click create. And because I'm going to click on add YouTube or upload, and you have different options, right? I can actually drop in a YouTube link and pull a video from YouTube, maybe from my own channel, or if you're working with other content creators, you could go ahead and upload your own video. So we upload from Drive, Dropbox, or just upload from your computer. But since I already have the video uploaded, I'm going to click reuse from my library. So now that I've got it from my library, I'm going to grab this one about the Apple event, right? So Apple just announced yesterday the new 18 Pro, Pro Max, and the new Air, which looks incredible, by the way. And so you've got MKBHD who went in and did a review about it. So I've got that video uploaded in here already. So what I did was I came up here and clicked create. Inside of Alphana, when I click create, I can now go ahead and upload a video. This is where I was showing you where you can drop a YouTube link to pull any podcast or interview or any video I want to pull, or for example, my own video or audio file. And I'm going to go to reuse from library. And in this case, right, Apple, they released their new iPhone 17 Pro and the Air, which looks incredible. And so I got this interview from MKBHD, and I'm going to go ahead and hit create so I could select that video. Now that I've selected this video, instead of using a template, which are essentially big workflows of content that I can create, I'm going to go ahead and click cards. And now that you click on cards, when I come here to search, I'm going to type storyboard. And so now that I've got storyboard, I've got one for music videos, right? So if you're an artist and you want to upload your lyrics or something to come up with an idea for your music video, but in this case, I want to create a storyboard so I can use for Veo3. So here's a regular storyboard. And you'll look down here, we've got GPT-5 selected. That's very important because the way GPT-5 writes is so much better than what we had before with GPT-4o. In this context, we fine-tuned it. It works so much better and smoother. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then on the personalization screen, this matters a lot more, especially when writing text, like who your target audience is, your language. I could put in here like target audience creators. That might be very helpful. And then language, if you're trying to write in a certain language. Also, your tone and your reading level is something important that you can put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. I'm going to skip editing the transcript, and okay, now we're generating. So now we're analyzing the video, and based on the video, we're going to come up with ideas for a storyboard. And this is going to actually create the storyboard images, like the images that I showed you earlier. So what I showed you earlier were images, ads, and storyboards that I created on my own just to have those ready for you. And in this case, now we're going to create it live. Meanwhile, as this is generating, if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and drop it in the chat. Is this function a standard part of Alphana or an add-on AI option? So everything I'm showing you right now is standard inside of Alphana. The limits are really going to be how many credits you have, right? So if you're generating a lot of content, you're probably going to need more credits. And the limitations also with the number of hours or minutes of video that you're uploading into Alphana. But aside from that, all this functionality I'm showing you today is inside of here. The only thing that's not included, right? We're using a separate tool to actually generate the video. So I want to make sure that's clear. We're uploading the video, we're sourcing it. That's all happening in Alphana. We're generating the scenes, the images. And then once I go into Google's product, which is Flow, which is where you can generate these Veo3 videos, that's where you would input these images to be able to generate those videos. So great question. Once the storyboard is created, how are they used? For example, is there a logical next step inside of Alphana with the results? Yes, that's a great question. That's exactly what I'm doing here. This is our next step. So right now, as you can see on the screen, we just generated the storyboard images based on this video. And in this case, we did them as sketches, okay? So it gave you kind of the concepts and ideas, and we could turn that into a video. Now, you could, if you want to use and make this more realistic, right? That's all in prompting, all right? But let me show you what this created first, right? I'm going to go ahead and click the first panel. And now here's a storyboard. You've got a person, he walks in the scene, you see the phone, gets looking at it, notification, right? And he's looking at the camera. This is important because with Apple's launch yesterday, right? They announced their new iPhones. They announced how the camera now has the dual mode with the selfie. Like you could do landscape and vertical videos without rotating the phone. It's really, really cool. So they're probably demoing that. And in the prompt, you'll see that we're very detailed on what happens in every scene. Right? And so if I click next, here's the next scene. You can see what it looks like, and it shows you scene 5 through 8. And if I go next, it shows me scene 9 through 12. And then last but not least, 13 through 16. And look how cool this is. I mean, it got the phones right. It got the battery pack attached to the phone, which they talked about inside of the video. They talked about how thin the phone is. So look how incredible using the 2 fingers with that. Like they literally were holding the phone that way, but straight up. But it's interesting how they're talking about it here. And then down here, you can see the lineup of the different phones that they came out with, along with the watch, the AirPods. So you see the image generation inside of Alphana has understanding of these real world elements to be able to generate these things. And it's just incredible on the level of detail that you can get on here. Now remember, you don't have to just do sketches. You could do realistic. It could be cinematic. It does not need to be that way. So all that happens by clicking on edit. So each one of these cards, you can actually click edit. And now that I've got here, we've got an entire prompt that we've made. And here's the beauty of it. Look how long this prompt is, right? I'm going to keep scrolling. We've got instructions. We've got details. We talk about how the panels should be. We talk about how the prompts, the formats, the scenes, the panels. It's very, very, very detailed. So if there's something you don't like with how the images or content is generated in Alphana, it's most likely because it's not for your preference, and it's because it was instructed to do so. So we give this to you so that you could tailor it to you, right? That's the beauty of it. We want to give you a great starting point. So you're not starting with a blank page. And in this case, I'm not starting with a blank page, right? I have something pre-configured and ready to go, but you can make adjustments to it, right? I could say here, like, I want these 4 panels, but I don't want it black and white and hand-drawn and lightly shaded, right? I want them consistent, cinematic, realistic images, just like a traditional film, you know, just like a movie, right? So you could do like little details like that where I want to make it that way. And if I keep going, I probably maintain a consistent, we do it multiple times. So cinematic, realistic visuals throughout. So I'm just making subtle changes to this, right? I just want to make sure nothing else in here talks about it being cinematic, because then I could show you what this looks like if we made this a little bit more realistic, right? And the visual style must be, you see, we do it multiple times because we're kind of reiterating. So I'll just say cinematic and realistic. I mean, I'm doing this pretty quickly, so obviously we could make this a little bit different. But now I've got this prompt, so I can keep the other one. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to add another card. Okay, now what's cool is that we have a whole library, so you can add more cards to this project. You don't have to stay with one. So this makes it very flexible. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the storyboard, but I'm going to replace it now with the new prompt that we just did. That now makes it cinematic, realistic. Nothing in here talks about it being sketches. So we'll just kind of make sure all that looks good. All right, beautiful. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit generate, and we'll let that run. Okay. While that's running, let's go ahead and make one of these a video. So we've got these different scenes. You've got scene 1, 2, and 3. You've got this one. We've got this one and this one here, right? So let's take a stab at it. I'll just go ahead and grab the first one. I'm going to go ahead and download that one just in case, because this looks pretty cool. I'm going to have it as a backup as well. I'm going to download that one. Please turn this into a real video with sound effects and speech. So I'm doing something very generic right now. This is in regards to the new iPhone 17 launch. And I'll go ahead and hit generate. All right, so now what it's going to do is going to take the video based on those frames, and it's going to generate a scene. Now, one thing you'll learn with Veo3 is it takes the screenshot of the first frame, and it makes that the first frame of the video. Okay, so what you would do after is you could always crop that part out of the video if you need to. So let's just take a quick preview and see what this looks like. You guys see that? Look at that. it took the two scenes and turned it into a full sequence. And there it is, zooming into the last frame of the scene. What did you think? I'm going to go ahead and pull up the second one. Let's see what this one looks like.
Is the new iPhone 17 really worth it? Is the new iPhone 17 really worth it?
All right, so now a couple things with Veo3. Sometimes it doesn't get it right the first time.
Is the new iPhone 7?
You'll notice, like in this example, it's not moving at the same time with his lips, and he keeps talking, so the audio is not in sync. That's why, you know, doing two versions helps, because it helps you to kind of see the two different scenarios. Hopefully this was an exciting session for you. I'm Sebastian Mourra, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Alphana. So if you need something, I'm your guy. Just reach out to me. If this is your first time watching this video, please go ahead and sign up for Alphana. Give these a try. I'm really excited to see what you do with it. And then go ahead and join the community. I mean, anything that you create, drop it into the community. I'd love to see what's being created or your workflow hack that helps you to be able to automate content in different ways. So thank you all again. I appreciate your time. Please, if you're on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, turn on the notification bell. The algorithm absolutely loves it and it helps us grow. So I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.